So a lot of people see the product as a process. So there's a statement coming from the biotech industry for the original days saying the process is the product. I think that's a big mistake. Your process is not your product. Your process influences your product, but your product is your product. And then people try to patent or to have their secrets around the process and put the value there. Because if you're looking at CD19 cells, for example, the CAR-Ts, there's a lot of CAR-Ts against CD19. What is the difference? The bottom line, it's a cell against CD19. So there might be a little bit of differences, and they're usually with the tools that you're using. What vector are you using? How are you manufacturing it? What is the efficiency of infection, etc. But that is not strong enough. The biggest advantage that you can have at the end is your efficacy and your time to market. And that goes back to your process. So you want an efficient process, and you want that to influence your market at the end if you want to have a competitive edge. So if you're looking for IP, it probably, and it can't be on the cell itself, it probably should be on something in the process, but not the method. The method is a tool. The method cannot really be protected. Even if you have an IP on a method, it's very hard to enforce that. It's very hard to protect it. It's very hard to make sure that that doesn't leak. It doesn't matter if it's internally or externally. People change, people move positions. So you have to find something unique, a specific factor that makes your cells better, that makes them grow better, a process that makes you cheaper and better scalable. That would give you a competitive advantage. All the rest is just to satisfy the fact that you think you're protected. But if it's not going to give you a competitive edge in cost and in time to market and in efficacy, of course, let's do what's ever available and get as fast as possible. Don't waste your time trying to hide secrets of how you do things. At the bottom line, as one who's seen a lot of these processes, they're very similar. Everybody thinks they have their own unique thing. Usually, it's not. And usually, there's better stuff outside. So if you can even cooperate on that, on the processes, on the tools, you might get even a better product at the end, faster time to market, and get a competitive edge. Okay, so the biggest risk factors during the tech transfer is basically a technology which is not really mature enough. People have a technology mostly in academia. They did it, they had a specific student that did it in a specific way, and now they think that it's ready and they transfer it. And now it comes to a different technician who doesn't exactly know the art that was done in the lab. Raw materials change, tools change, and suddenly it doesn't work. That is the biggest gap that I see. Usually all the rest, once it's already in a CMO and it's covered and it's qualified in a way that has been tested over and over again, it's easier. But then you start falling into issues like materials that change and affect the process. But these are solvable and easier. So I would say that the best way to develop success metrics for the tech transfer is looking at your product. Because the product is the product, not the process. The process is going to change, especially with early stage products. You're going to change the process. So it's academia-based product, phase 1-based process, phase 2-based. They evolve, and it's accepted, and that's part of life. So define your success criteria in your product, meaning what is the real characterization that you're looking for. If you have potency or you have some kind of assays that will show you that the cell is what you're expecting, that's the most important part of it. Then all the rest is, in a way, technical. We will do the process that has been done in the lab, transfer it, redo it. You know, the technicians from the lab can do it in the CMO. The CMO can do it in the lab, whatever. There's a lot of ways to do that, but define your product. If you don't have a product, you're not, even if you're just transferring and you think that, yes, everything went, I have the same amount of cells that I expected, but you didn't really phenotype or characterize well your cells, you might not have really transferred your product. You transferred some kind of a process.